girl never imagined that while she was crying in sadness, the boy would immediately pull her into his arms because he understood that she didn't want her classmates to see her in such a vulnerable state. Yet it was this simple gesture that made the girl fall completely in love with him. The boy seemed not to care at all about the strange looks from others. All he wanted was to protect the girl in his arms, the one he had secretly liked for so long. He softly comforted her, and this gentle side of him brought back memories from their shared past. It turned out that years ago, because of a misunderstanding, the two had completely lost contact. Back then, Jack had asked Jenny to meet him at the park to clear things up, but Jenny waited there for a long time, and Jack never showed up. The next day, she heard from classmates that Jack had already transferred schools and left. That news left Jenny heartbroken for a long time. Even after so many years, the feelings buried deep in her heart had never faded. After entering high school, Jenny never expected that on her very first day in class, she would hear classmates talking about another cute girl. Because the girl was attractive and received a lot of attention from boys, she was pushed away and gradually isolated by the other girls in class. Watching the girl's lonely figure, Jenny felt deeply sorry for her. She realized that back in middle school, she herself had once been isolated for the same reason, because boys thought she was cute. So after starting high school, Jenny deliberately tried not to repeat the past. She bought lots of bread every day, pretending to have the same appetite as the boys, so others would think she wasn't the type boys would like. Even so, some boys still found her cute. Whenever she noticed their attention, Jenny would immediately act rough and irritable just to make them lose interest. One day after class, Jenny accidentally bumped into a boy. The moment their bodies touched, she suddenly felt a familiar presence. Like Jack, her heart skipped a beat, and she quickly chased after him. Just as she was about to call out to him, a classmate behind her called out the boy's name first. The boy turned around. Jenny stared at the familiar face, yet didn't dare believe it, because the name that was called was not the one she remembered. On the way home, Jenny couldn't stop thinking about it. She couldn't understand why the boy had smiled at her so gently. Before she could figure it out, a familiar figure appeared again. Without hesitation, Jenny called out to him. The boy turned back, said nothing, and walked straight into a place, the secret spot that once belonged only to her and Jack. Seeing this, Jenny became even more certain that he was Jack. She watched as the boy crouched behind a building. Jenny softened her footsteps and quietly called out the name Jack once used. To her surprise, the boy shook his head, denying her guess, just as disappointment filled her heart.
急に降ってきた。
The boy suddenly spoke. He repeated the exact words Jack had once said to her here. With that single sentence, Jenny immediately knew the boy in front of her was Jack. Seeing the affectionate smile on his face, her long-held suspicion was finally confirmed. Jack then explained that he no longer used his old name. After his parents divorced, he went to live with his mother and changed his name. Looking at the boy she had missed for so long, Jenny was too overwhelmed to speak.
いつ気づくかと思ってたけど、今日で全くだもんな。マジウケるし。
In fact, Jack had recognized her on the very first day of school. He had simply been waiting for Jenny to recognize him too. He never expected it would take her so long.
そうだよな。お前、男嫌いだもんな。
Only then did Jenny realize that all this time Jack had been quietly watching everything she did, just as she was about to pour out all the longing she had carried for years. Jack interrupted her, having guessed exactly what she was about to say.
俺もだよ。俺、お前のこと好きだった。
But what he said next was like cold water poured over her heart. He told her that they were no longer the same as they once were, and that she should forget him completely. Jenny stood there in shock. Before she could even react, Jack turned and walked away, leaving her frozen in place. The next day, Jenny went straight to find Jack. As soon as she arrived at school, the two ended up on the school lawn, where Jack once again made his position clear. He didn't want any kind of relationship with her. Those words completely broke Jenny. She couldn't hold back her tears. Seeing her in such pain, Jack could no longer pretend. At last, he told her the truth. The reason he kept rejecting Jenny was because of the misunderstanding. From years ago, he believed that he had hurt her. All these years, he had lived with guilt and never had the courage to face her again.
あの日三角公園で俺のこと待ってた。
待ってたよ。ずっと待ってたんだよ。
ごめん。お前はさ、男嫌いだと思ってたからさ。
それは。
いや、それでも俺、あの日三角公園行くつもりだった。いろいろあって、あの日、行けなくてごめんね。